So, the New York Islanders have taken themselves a 3-2 series lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins in yesterday's double overtime game. Now, you can talk about the good, you can talk about the bad, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that went on in this game, and at the end of the day, there are positives and negatives from both sides. But the first thing you're going to hear about when you bring up this game, game number 5, Pittsburgh, New York, to anybody, it's going to be that overtime goal. The double overtime marker where Tristan Jarry, the Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender, holds the puck right in the side of his net. He takes a look up ice, and he shoots it right on the tape of a hockey player who wears a jersey that is not his own. He sends it right over to Josh Bailey, who comes in with a shot, and yeah, there was a lot of panic by the Penguins defenders over there, and Jarry himself. Eventually, it's a goal in double overtime that gives the Isles a 3-2 series lead. But I wanted to talk about just the goaltending in particular in this video, and I want to get most of this from what is a Reddit post that I saw on the Penguins subreddit. Now, I don't want anybody to go down in the comments and say, oh, Lego, this is what passes for journalism these days. You can just read comments on a Reddit post. To anybody who's going to be thinking that, at the very least, I want to say to you this right here. This channel is not a journalism channel. This is not me bringing you the news as to what's going on, because I've committed myself to talking about 31 NHL teams every day and bringing up different topics in a journalistic fashion. That's not what this is. I'm not the news. What I am is a conversation dude who just likes hockey and who just wants to make videos talking about things he finds are interesting. In my senior year of high school, I would go to the library every morning and talk to the same group of friends at the same table in the library about different stuff that happened in the league, and we would talk about it in a colloquial, conversation-like manner. That is what this channel is. And that's why I make the videos I do in the style that I do. I'm not bringing you the news from a completely non-biased journalistic perspective. No, I'm telling you my thoughts as a guy who watches hockey and who sees things that he thinks are conversational. And something like this on Reddit is conversational, and that's why we're going to go about it here. So, let's go over to the Penguin subreddit. Take a look at this post right here. I'm pulling the title and the thumbnail and all that from this right here. Tristan Jarry is holding this team back. Posted by a user named It's Kellen. They say, change my mind. And I wanted to just read some of the comments in here going over the Penguins fan base perspective on Tristan Jarry throughout this playoff series. Because as you know, the Penguins only need to lose one more game to be eliminated, done completely out of the Stanley Cup Playoffs in 2021. And if you take a look at the goaltending matchup, man, it's really easy to see who is looking like the best goaltender in this series so far. Game 1 was won by the Isles in overtime. Game 2 was won by the Penguins 2-1 in regulation. Pittsburgh took a high-scoring Game 3, 5-4, and the Islanders bounced back with 2 straight wins after that, clawing back from a 2-1 deficit to leading 3-2. Obviously, yesterday's double overtime game being the most recent. But in the series so far, you have yourselves Tristan Jarry, who is sitting over here with 337 minutes played, with a .285 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. Now that's not, that's not amazing. It's passable at the very least. I think it's like low tier passable if you want to say, okay, this is our guy that is going to go out there and help us win a Stanley Cup. But if you go over to the Islanders side of things, you take a look at who is on that squad. Hey, you have Semyon Varlamov. He's played 2 games. He's lost both of them. He, in 116 minutes, has a .361 goals against average and a .903 save percentage. Yeah, not really great for Varlamov, but the saving grace for the Islanders is in Ilya Sorokin. 217 minutes played. He's won all 3 games he's played, and he's at a .166 GAA and a .951 save percentage. Absolute beast right there for the Islanders. Take a look at what happened in yesterday's double overtime win as well. Ilya Sorokin stopped 48 shots on 50 shots against in double overtime, so really good for him. Jarry, of course, led in 3 on 28 total shots, so an .893 save percentage for him. The statistics very heavily favor Ilya Sorokin and how he has been just an absolute brick wall for the Islanders thus far against the Penguins. But what do Pens fans have to say about Jarry on their end? Let's go over to this Reddit post and see what they are saying. The first comment here says, I haven't seen a game like this in 10 years. We outplay them, and then not only do they score, but it has to be a lucky, dumb goal. That's a pretty common perspective in this thread. Lots of people are also talking about the second goal that Jarry allowed, the one where Jordan Eberle just kind of wraps around the front of the net and Jarry falls down. A really weird play right there, but ultimately it's the second goal of the game for the Islanders. A lot of Pens fans didn't really like how that one went either, although that one wasn't as egregious as the terrible error in overtime. Next comments over here say that turnover by Jarry in overtime was unforgivable. Jarry's performance in this series has been miles worse than any other goaltender the Penguins have had dating back to the 2012-13 Fleury meltdown shows. His numbers aren't that much worse than Murray's numbers in the last 3 years, but Jarry has been individually responsible for so many goals against in this series, to the point where I can't even remember Murray coming close to this. For Matt Murray, his bad series were he's kind of blah, and he gives us mediocre results. Jarry's bad series are literally he's passing the puck to the other team in overtime. Meanwhile, Marc-Andre Fleury is standing on his head in Vegas. Oh man, how must that feel for the Penguins fan base out here seeing Marc-Andre Fleury not only rebound from what was a really weird situation in 2020, where we kind of felt like he was getting backstabbed by Peter DeBoer, and that was this agent coming out with this weird picture and all that. All of a sudden, a year later, Robin Lehner ain't the starter anymore, baby. It's Marc-Andre Fleury flower time carrying this team against Minnesota. Must be nice to get some good goaltending, eh? Now, we don't want to make this video all doom and gloom about one guy on the Penguins, because it's not even just Jarry whose name is being brought up in this context. A lot of the other comments that are kind of defending Jarry go over the idea that the Penguins themselves just are not getting it done as a team offensively. Because hey, if you play in double overtime, not only does it mean that Jarry is making the saves to keep you in it, but it also means that your team isn't scoring either. So it kind of goes both ways. Could the Penguins be indeed a little bit better up front, getting goals past that super hot fire Ilya Sorokin brick wall? Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at where the Penguins are right now in their playoff scoring race. Sidney Crosby is out here with 2 points in 5 games. Okay, not terrible. You have Jake Gensel with 1 point in 5 games. I mean, yeah, could be a little bit better, I would say. Definitely don't want to blame this on one guy in particular, even though the goal in double overtime was kind of caused by one guy in particular. So I want you to tell me, if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, what are your thoughts about this little question over here? Is Jarry holding your team back? Because when it comes to the way this series has gone down, yes, Ilya Sorokin has been the better goaltender by far. But is it to the point that you can actually blame your own goaltending matchup and saying, okay, well, Jarry is this, Jarry is that, he is part of the reason why we're down in the series right now? If you swapped out Tristan Jarry for another goaltender, are you 100% guaranteed that you would have significantly better results in this series alone? Because you still need to find a way to beat Ilya Sorokin, even if you have another goaltender in net. Now sure, the devil's advocate to that is, well, of course, if we had a different goaltender, these other goals wouldn't have gone in. But other caveats to that, you know, Jarry hasn't been completely out to dry. He's made a few pretty alright saves here and there. Who knows if those little floaters are the ones that catches another guy off guard. It's just the whole sphere of talking about the hypothetical, the things in the abstract that we don't really have any solidifications as to whether or not they could, would, or even come close to manifesting. So it ultimately is just a question as to how you feel about Jarry as a goaltender at the moment, because despite the fact that he's on a team that's not really giving him too much goal support this time around, he is, no doubt about it, losing the goaltending battle so far. To end things off on this video, let's go over one more comment over here from a username YesKid10. I was all for Jarry like an hour ago, but he does not deserve to start next game. I'd rather Legay start. Okay, that's a big push down in your depth chart there. You can't start Jarry at this point. He's a liability. I think he can be good, but he's playing like a guy who has never played in the postseason before, and it showed. Kind of funny that we were kind of projecting Jarry to have that same Matt Murray Cinderella-like story all those seasons ago. But talk to me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this. Josh Rolls 99. And Bye.